Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Kevin with Optimize Essentials, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you part 4 of 6 in achieving optimum health, and we are on movement, all right? My forte. As someone who's been in the fitness industry or practicing fitness for about 8, 9, I think I'm closing up to a decade now, I can assure you that I am fully committed to my practice, to studying the absolute best people in this field so that I can give you guys the absolute best knowledge. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing with you guys 3 things, all right? Number 1, how physiology, how your body, how your posture, right? The literal makeup of your body, how that influences your mood, how that influences your emotional state, how that influences everything else, because your body is like a receiver. It's like a reception station. And when you don't have this optimized, when your posture isn't good, when you have poor biomechanics and you can't move correctly, you're going to be susceptible to a whole host of symptoms, whole host of issues, chronic diseases or chronic ailments, physical ailments, a lot of musculoskeletal pain that you do not want, okay? So we're going to be discussing posture and physiology, how to optimize your movement, the core principles behind how you can actually begin to shape your body and achieve the physique, the physical fitness, the functionality of an athlete, all right? I realized a long time ago that building muscles, right? Putting on more size, putting on more muscle like a bodybuilder, that isn't always exactly the way to go, because if you can't move your body and you're building more imbalances, or you're building muscles on top of an already imbalanced body, which we'll be discussing, you'll just have more imbalances. You'll be a bodybuilder who looks good, but you can't use your body, and also you'll have a lot of aches and pains, which I am a full 100% testament of, because through excessive tightening of your muscles and developing it and tightening it up, you're going to develop knots, you're going to develop trigger points, you're going to develop adhesions, fibrotic tissue within your muscles. And if you don't get a massage therapist to get it out, like me, a body worker, or you don't do myofascial release by yourself, your body is going to be tense and tight, and you are going to experience stress. So with that being said, let me go over some quick symptoms that you should be aware of, so that you can really understand and become aware of your body, the sensations that are going on in your body, so that you are more aware of what the things you are doing or not doing with your body, okay? So as I mentioned, you're going to experience aches and pain in your muscles, in your joints, and pretty much anywhere in your body that you are not utilizing properly, you are not stretching properly, you are not bringing motion to, okay? I want you to think about, what happens when you sit excessively. You start to feel like, my lower back, it just feels really tight. Or you get up after sitting for 3 hours and just like, oh man. And then after a while, you move a while, you lubricate your body, your joints are working again. Or you're standing for a long time at your job, and then suddenly you have aches and pains in your feet, you have aches and pains in your knees, you have aches and pain in your lower back, your neck is always tight, and you're just always like, Well, guess what? That's because you have a lot of muscle imbalances. And what that basically means, if you stand from the side and you use a mirror, and you get head to toe kind of side view, your joints should be stacked. You shouldn't have excessively rounded shoulders. Your head shouldn't be jutting forward. You shouldn't be having pelvic tilts or imbalances in your pelvis, because if you have imbalances anywhere in your body, the whole kinetic chain is linked. So one domino, as soon as it knocks over, is going to affect everything else. And if you have poor structural integrity, the joints within your body, the muscle tissue within your body, is eventually going to act up, and it is not going to like it, okay? So this will lead to a bunch of feelings of unease, right? If you're sitting too often, you might get stagnant, chaotic energy, where it feels like you want to go do something, but at the same time, your energy just feels slow and sluggish and stuck. I know how this feels, guys. And when I sit for 3-4 hours in the same place, I go crazy. I have to go outside. I have to go walk. I took a cold shower before this so I can refresh my physiology, which I'm about to talk to you about shortly after I discuss the rest of these symptoms, all right? So fatigue, all right? When your muscles are imbalanced, it causes your body to overwork. Some muscles will pick up on the slack of others, right? And it's called synergistic dominance, or it'll just, you might have glute amnesia where your butt isn't working, you might have quad dominance, and some muscles work more, causing other body parts which are turned off to not work as hard, and that will lead to more and more imbalances, which will affect your joints more and more. And oftentimes, people don't understand that the pain that they have in a certain body part is not exactly the reason why they have that pain. If you have neck pain or shoulder pain, it's not always that there's something, the root cause of it is because of something's wrong with your neck and your shoulder. I mean, why you're experiencing that pain, yes, it's related to your neck and your shoulders, but maybe you didn't address your feet. Maybe you have collapsed arches. Maybe you wear shoes from way too long from when you were young, and you're not wearing these Vibrams, right? 5 fingers, or you're not barefoot enough and you have flat feet. And because of that, that's causing your knees to cave in, and that's causing your hips to sway back, or you cause your pelvic floor or your pelvis to tip forward. And then now you have a lordosis, and then you have kyphosis to balance it out, and then now you have neck pain, or your chest and your abdominals is too tight, and that's pulling you into rounded shoulders, and now you have neck pain and shoulder pain. You get what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily the shoulder and neck itself, it's that you're not addressing the whole kinetic chain. You're not looking at every other part. And because people are so fixated on they're zoomed in, right? They're zoomed in on the problem. Like if you go to a doctor and you say, I have shoulder pain, if he doesn't know anything about the body, he doesn't know anything about biomechanics, he doesn't understand the connection, he'll be like, okay, maybe you have some type of inflammation in your shoulder joint, you might have shoulder impingement, or you might have some sort of tendonitis or tendinosis, or they might give you some random, acute inflammation, some way out there thing that's related to the joint, or you might have bursitis or something, and then they recommend that you take pills, or they take you to an orthopedic surgeon that wants to take his knife and cut that shit off, right? You don't want that. You do not want that, okay? You want to understand what is pulling the joint out of its position, or pulling it from its most equilibrium state, right? The most balanced state. What is it pulling it into an imbalanced state? What muscles around it is either weak or overactive, too tight? What is causing that imbalance? So a lot of people don't understand that your posture from head to toe is one connected unit, all right? You can't fix frozen shoulder. You can't fix frozen shoulder. You can't fix rounded shoulder. You can't fix forward head alone by just focusing on those exercises. It's a full body approach, okay? So that's something I want to be very clear with. Not moving properly, not optimizing your biomechanics, sitting too much, that is going to affect your posture from head to toe. You're gonna have stagnant, chaotic energy, always feeling unease. Again, knots and trigger points all over your body, and those are the most common symptoms. Aches and pains, fatigue, chaotic, restless energy, those are the symptoms. Now, I wanna talk to you about why optimizing your movement, optimizing your posture, developing an elite level of physical fitness where you perform like an athlete is so important. Because your body, how you use your body, is going to dictate the type of emotions you feel, okay? Your physiology. Your physiology responds to the environment, and your physiology responds to how you use your body, okay? Now, remember this line. The more motionless you are, the less emotions you experience. The more motionless you are, as in the more you sit and just sit still, the less emotions you'll experience, because emotion, as many of you've heard before, is energy in motion, okay? And if your energy is low or you're stagnant, you are going to experience stagnation, you're going to experience apathy, you're going to experience lethargy, right? Just being really slow, lethargy, and you're just going to feel stuck and icky and gross. But when you start moving your body and you start experiencing life, like just think about the last time you went hiking, right? Some of you guys like, oh man, I haven't been in nature for a while, right? that's not good. I mean, I can't say that because it's been like 2 weeks since I went to the beach, but just think about how you feel when you go hiking. When you're taking in the trees and you're looking around, your senses are engaged, all of your cells are alert and wide open, ready to receive and be receptive to any potential threats, anything whistling in the trees and the bushes. You're like, what is that? Or when you're in the beach and the waves are rolling and crashing and you just hear the noise, right? That's so beautiful. Your body is alive. You're feeling alive. That is physiology, guys. That is the power of your body. But when you're not using your body and you're sitting and you're cramped in a chair, or you're just slouched and compressed and you're not breathing correctly, right? You're eating toxic foods, you're consuming poor material. What this does is it messes up your physiology. Your body will feel depressed because it's not being worked. We all see that dog who, they say a tired dog is a happy dog because that dog has been moving, he's been barking, he's been jumping, and all he's ready to do is just sleep. But then we've all seen that sad, poor dog with almost like snot all over his nose and eye boogers, and he's just laying there like, I'm so depressed, That's most people nowadays. We need to move our body, right? Just think of the last time you've had sex with someone very attractive, or sex in general. And if you haven't, then, that's not too good. But I mean, I can't say that as well because I've been celibate for about like a few years now. Sexual transmutation, guys. That's another topic on its own, which is coming out. But think about the last time you've had sex with someone who's, you're attracted to. It's thrilling, right? There's like that oomph to it. There's that excitement. Your physiology is alive, right? It's excited. It's ecstatic. When you use your body correctly, you will feel emotions on a different level, okay? And then let me see if I missed anything. Yes, so basically our physiology, right? The living organism, the cells within our body interacts with the environment. And the less you use this, the less emotions you will feel, okay? And when you are moving around too in the nature and hiking and going to the beach, are you lost in thought? Are you ruminating? Are you thinking a lot? No, chances are if you're doing it correctly, you're there in the present moment, just taking in life, like, wow, this beach is so beautiful. Hearing the waves crash and go back, you hear the trees, the rustle of the leaves, and you just smell the good air. That is the power of optimizing your physiology. And one last thing about physiology, the benefits of it, when you have good posture, good upright posture, you're staying nice and tall, you're nice and proud. When you cement this and you build this into your body, confidence is going to be your natural baseline, all right? If you've watched any of Tony Robbins' videos, he's always a big proponent of how you use your body affects your state. Well, you can permanently, I believe, loosely, permanently cement confidence in your body by developing your body, right? It's so much easier to feel good and feel confident in who you are when you have a nice, strong, fit body. Have you seen anyone who's fit that's not confident? I mean, there are those people, but for the most part, if they have a truly powerful athletic body that you can see and that they can move and like actually operate in, true athletes, they are just as confident. Their mind is sharp. Their body is strong. They're ready to go. They're a full package, right? When you build this into your body, into your nervous system, it just becomes who you are. And depression, low moods, that doesn't happen too often, okay? So that is going to be the power of optimizing your body, your movement, your physiology, your posture. All of that is going to be in this, okay? So how do you optimize your movement? How do you optimize your body? How do you optimize your physique, your posture, your biomechanics? Well, I'm going to give you a list of things that I am going to quickly and briefly go over because each one of these topics can be a video on its own and they can be very in-depth and in detail, and I'll point you into the right direction if you want to learn more, okay? So the very first thing that at least I understood or I looked into and got into was we all know about the antagonist, right? The antagonist muscles, the opposing muscle groups, okay? So basically understanding how muscle balance works, all right? So when you have one muscle, let's say the bicep, when you're contracting it, the opposing muscle, the antagonist, the triceps, is naturally lengthening, right? When your chest and your abdominals are tightening forward, then your back is automatically lengthening. So you need to understand how to mitigate your muscle imbalances through identifying your excessively tonic musculature, which are your tight muscles, and strengthening the opposing phasic muscles, which are your weaker muscles, okay? So the tonic musculature generally is the one that gets tight, and then the phasic ones is the ones that are generally weak. You want to bring balance by adequately stretching and strengthening. Now, there is a certain technique to stretching and strengthening because the conventional stretch and strengthen is missing a lot, right? You have to integrate that muscle group in a full body movement as opposed to, okay, I stretch my pecs out and then now I'm just gonna go do rows. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to dynamically stretch your body, which is what I'm going to be talking about next. Dynamic stretching, not just static stretching, is you have to incorporate the whole spectrum of stretching, right? You have to do static stretching first for beginners, yes, and then dynamic stretching, which is moving during your stretching, and then you need to incorporate ballistic stretching, which is something a lot of people in the textbooks say is dangerous, but if you are inexperienced or you're experienced person, ballistic stretching is going to be part of that full package. Now, the reason why they might say that ballistic stretching is bad is maybe some people might do it incorrectly, or they're not flexible from the get-go, and then when they bounce into it, they are triggering their body's muscle reflex. I think it was like the Golgi tendon organ response, where the body reflexively contracts because it's being overstretched. So in the beginning, ballistic stretching might not be good, but eventually you want to incorporate all three, and you do static, dynamic, and ballistic, okay? So number one, mitigate muscle imbalances through identifying your excessively tonic musculature and strengthening the opposing phasic muscles. And then you incorporate static, dynamic, and ballistic stretching into your routine. And then number three, we do mobility drills, okay? Now, if you have any questions or if you want to get into this deeper, I have a posture program out. I also have a somewhat functional training program out. But by the time the future people watch this, hopefully within 1 year or so, or two, I'm going to put together a video program that is going to be super advanced, that will teach you how to stretch your body out, which that's my only program out right now, the stretch program, how to assess your own posture, right? How to assess your own posture and how to do the stretches to correct your muscle imbalances. But what it's missing is the dynamic portion, right? The dynamic, the ballistic, and then the corrective exercise. I'm going to come out with a full stack program from beginner, intermediate to advanced posture training, posture correction, mobilization, corrective exercise, and it's going to be top of the line stuff, okay? And also mobility drills. So mobility drills, if you don't want to wait or if you don't want to get my programs, that's fine. Go online and just type in mobility routine, and there are a ton of good ones. But if you want to support me and you want to learn from me and you want my knowledge, then you got to fork up some cash, because guys, I learned a long time ago that asking for money, I'm not ashamed of that, because I spent a lot of my years, a lot of my time studying and researching and experimenting and teaching clients. And the people who don't pay, they don't pay attention. And also the people who value education, who are willing to pay, get better results. And not just that, you supporting me helps support my dreams to experience more of life. So I myself can buy more courses to do what? To improve myself, to help you guys. So by you supporting me, I am supporting the rest of the world, okay? So that's how it's interchange, right? You help me, I help you, and it's the cycle back and forth. Because ultimately, I want to better myself so that I can provide more value to people, okay? And I spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on courses, on fitness courses, okay? And I'm about to share with you the next one, right? So strengthen your glutes and abdominals for adequate hip and core stability, okay? Now, I'm not sure where I've read this or heard this before, but some people neglect, the power of core stability or hip stability. These people do not know what they're talking about, all right? If I had to choose and tell you what is the most important thing to train, it would be your core and your glutes. And I'm not just talking about laying there doing hip thrusts and doing, sit-ups and stuff. Hip and core stability, glute and core stability. Let me show you this booty. Okay, being able to stabilize yourself in this stance when you're running, when you're moving side to side, and when you're, just transitioning, bouncing, you need to have a very strong core and glute. And this right here, and this, there's a bunch of muscles in here, okay? There's your pelvic floor, the core, the trunk. A lot of that, it consists of a lot of deeper intrinsic stabilizers and extrinsic stabilizers that I don't have time to go into. But the more fine-tuned you get with developing every aspect of your glute, right? If you didn't know, the glute is made up of the glute medius, minimus, maximus. Your core is made up of your transverse abdominis, your rectus abdominis, which is a six-pack that everyone wants to train and see. But the transverse abdominis is where it's at. The obliques, right? The internal, external obliques. This whole line of muscle is where the power is, all right? And if you don't have power here, you don't have power in your glutes, you don't have power in your core, you will not perform at the elite levels, all right? And if you're an athlete, oh man, I wish I could go back in time when I ran track and train myself. I would have been so much faster. But hey, hindsight is 2020. And then finally, the most recent pinnacle of my teachings that I'm going to fully credit to functional patterns, the Sling System. I mean, I first learned about the Sling System through Paul Chek, which I have a very strong guess that's where Nadia Aguilar learned the Sling System from. But he learned the Sling System, the anterior oblique sling system and the posterior oblique sling system, which basically allows you to walk in cross pattern, right? Where your hips are moving. This is the functionality that a lot of bodybuilders are missing. And this, I am definitely going to incorporate into my future program, right? My future program. So keep an eye out for you future people. Look down below to see if it's out yet, because I promise you, by that time when it comes out, it's going to be badass. And you are going to move and feel your body unlike anything other, okay? But right now, I will point you over to Nadia Aguilar's, because he pretty much is the top of the line in terms of movement, okay? Out of all the people I've seen and studied so far, biomechanics in terms of proper posture and how the body moves, this guy is the best right now, right? But hey, man, that title, that's coming. And I'm gonna be snatching that very soon. So mark my words, I'm gonna be coming for that. So the oblique system, the anterior oblique system, your sling system, there's like your deep longitudinal system. Being able to integrate that into your body after you properly mitigated your muscle balances through stretching and strengthening, the sling systems are where it's at. That is where you are going to find the most of your functionality, functional movements. That combined with a strong functioning pair of glutes and core in your sling system, you are basically going to run and move and perform like an elite athlete. That's really all you need to have optimum posture, optimum movement, is a strong core, right? Strong core, strong glutes, working sling systems from left to right, right? That cross pattern, that gait, if you watch the runners run, they have really good sling systems, and adequate balanced posture through mitigating your tonic and phasic musculature. Okay, guys? So I hope you gain some insight. I hope you gain some value out of this, because all of these principles I've shared with you took me years to accumulate. Now, there's still some work I need to do before I fully put together my program and I fully release all my knowledge and give it to you guys in a nice package so that you guys can experience what I'm talking about, because all this means nothing, right? When I'm speaking, unless you look it up and you go off on your own. But all of these, they're ideas. When you actually experience the stretching, the mobility that I'll take you through, and the corrective exercise, and you feel your body work on a different level, trust me, guys, it'll be completely different. And I'll film footage of me moving, so you're not just thinking I'm pulling stuff out of my ass, because to move correctly, you need to have very good neuromuscular connection to your body. You need to have strong neuromuscular connection. You need to be flexible. You need to be mobile. You need to be able to move your body in different planes of motion, have adequate ranges of motion, and you need to be strong and stable in those movements so that you can be a beast when you move. That's why I'm coming for that movement specialist mastery, coming for it. All right, so 25 minutes in. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. It means a lot to me. Share it with a friend who needs help with movement, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.